This video is like basically helpful for those who are actually beginner in the software testing field. So, okay, so before starting that video, let me short introduction about myself. I don't want to disclose my name right now, but I'm an ISQ manual tester. I have been working on the manual testing domain for more than 2 years. So that's all about myself. Okay, now like what is the software testing basically? So see that if that any kind of software has been made by developer, so here we have some processes to test that software. We just cannot look at our software through that UI. We just cannot take that random value of that our field and all. So here we have some branch of processes to testing the software, and we have to test that is the software is basically fulfilling the customer requirement or not. So mainly like here we are aiming that for identifying the defects, so identifying the bugs, identifying the some miss scenarios or some miss cases or miss requirement. So those things we have to identify it. So this whole concept is called as a software testing concept. Now, what is the importance of the software testing? So basically, software testing actually helps, yeah, helps for like company to establish or make that more reliable software, or through that software testing we can create that a robust software that fulfilling that customer requirement, and customer can able to use the software, and they can also solve company can also able to solve the problem from customer point of view. So here like I have included some bullet point. So first bullet point is like ensure software reliability, security and performance. So this is nothing but like it is kind of comes under like user experience, and user data should be protected. So this thing is most important bullet point. Second is that it can prevent like costly failures and enhance that user satisfaction. So here what happened, like suppose some customer is running some businesses, and customer have faced some problem. That problem has solved by using software. So here we can prevent that like customer failures and enhance that their user experience or their like problem solving experience through software. Another thing is that like here we can validate that software for both businesses and user perspective. So like why software is required for users and businesses, because that software is solving some problem, that problem customer have faced earlier. So for that solve to solve those problems, like software should be work properly. So here like this through that software testing procedure, or uh, we can able to test the software fully, and we can check that our software should be bug free and defect. Now, there are lots of types of software testings are there, but mostly what testers are doing, that is called black box testing. And developer also have done some, or developer also did some testing. So that is called white box testing. So white box testing is basically what happening, like here developers are checking that code, they are checking that you they are checking branch of loops, they are trying to make that a proper they're trying to implement the proper DS, and all those things will be there in white box testing. But here in black box testing we are checking that like scenarios or test cases. So there are lots of common types, and there are most common types are functional testing. We are checking the functionality of the software, like all buttons should be clickable, and all text fields should be properly taking input from user perspective. So those things we are checking through here. Another thing is like regression. Regression is nothing but like that. Suppose some feature is working previously, now after implementing a new feature, like those old features should be work properly. So these things comes under regression testing. And also like we have some UAT kind of testing concept. So here what we are doing, through UAT we are checking that user experience or user acceptance testing. Now, another most important concept is called automation testing. So, what is the automation testing basically? So, here we are checking that a bunch of tools and script to automate the testing procedure. So basically, automation testing is mostly helpful for regression cycle. Suppose that we have to execute that eight test cases again and again. So it is a very kind of tedious job. So we have to get rid out of it. So for that we have to write some automation script, or we had like we have some tools. That tools we, through that tools we can run that script, and that script will test the software. So here what happened, like code is actual code will test that our code. So this is nothing but automation testing. So like most popular tool on the market is like Selenium. Testing is that most popular framework. Another we have some JMeter. JMeter is very useful for concurrent use or load testing and this kind of thing. So here some benefits are there, like speed will be very fast here, accuracy is very high because that here no humans are involved, so human error will be minimized, and here efficiency is much more higher compared to a human being, because that is here like code actually testing the code. So we have to write the code such a way that our code should be able to execute that proper test cases. Now another thing is like here, so some testing life cycles are there. So testing life cycle is nothing but like that here some requirement or some software is coming, like how can we test this software and how can we close that software, how can we close that our testing software. So those things comes under testing life cycle. So first of all, that is requirement analysis. Suppose like one customer is come like one customer is come to like some uh, one customer is approaching some company, and they are trying to they had some kind of problem, that problem statement they have given. Now that BA or business analyst team, what they are doing, they are going to do, they are creating the proper document regarding that customer problem, and they are forwarding that document to that developer or like developer lead or a tester. So from here, from tester point of view, we have to do some test planning. We have to write some test plan, and we have to do that test case development. Means test case development, here what happened, like we are creating the test cases and we are writing the test cases based upon our customer point of view. Then we have to set up that our test environment, that is also called as a test bed, because here we are testing our software tool. And then we have to do test execution. So test execution is nothing but we already have branch of test cases, and those cases need to be executed inside the test environment. And then we have some test closure. So here what happened, like after completing that whole execution, we have to close that our testing cycle. So this all whole cycle is called as a testing life cycle. So here from requirement analysis to test closure, that whole things comes under test life cycle, testing life cycle. Another thing is like testing technique use. So we have like branch of like testing technique use are there, decent partition, and like you can say like error guessing, BVA. So all things are there. I will create the separate video for that one. But here I had implemented some 3 bullet points. First is like that focus of input output without knowledge of internal code. So the thing is that for every field we have to focus like that all fields should be working properly, like output should be storing on the database, and all those things we need to focus it here. And the thing is like we have to involve the testing for internal structure or working of the application. We have to check the APIs, we have to check that branch of like script and all those things we need to test. Another thing is like combining both black box and white box testing methods. So here what happened, like we have to check that sometimes we have to check the code level also, sometimes we have to check that our functional and integration testing, and we have to execute like system testing and end-to-end also. So those things comes under that testing technique. So we have branch of testing technique use, so I'll gonna discuss on that later video. Another thing is like most common testing tool. So basically for bug locking or defect locking, Jira is the most popular, and for performance testing, JMeter is the most popular. Postman is very useful for API testing. So here we can it is very handy tool. So we can use Postman, and for that checking the APIs, and we can create that branch of our API cases there. We can create that API test suite and those things. And for like that automation, we have some Selenium and test engine. So basically for manual test cases writing and all, we are basically using Jira. and test engine is basically using for that. Test engine and system basically using for that automation. And for load testing and performance testing, we are using like JMeter, and API testing we are using Postman. For API automation, we are also using like REST Azure. That thing I haven't included on this slide. So there is lots of best practices in software testing. First thing is like early testings. Before starting the testing, we have to check that our software should be properly working. So for that we have a testing concept called smoke testing. So through smoke testing, we can check that most critical functionality of the software. Then another thing is like the test planning. So here we are developing that comprehensive test plan and test strategy, for how to test that software properly. And we have like, suppose we have a like limited time duration, or we have like project deadline. Within that deadline, we have to complete that testing as well as the deployment. So those things comes under test planning. Another thing is like clear documentation. So here we are mentioning that clear documentation regarding the test cases and result, and automation. Like through automation, we can automate that our regression cases. Through that automation, we don't need to execute that cases again and again. And another thing is like CI/CD. So continuous improvement and continuous deployment. So here we can like continuously update our test cases and methodologies, and we have to continuously use it and continuously deploy those cases to at our GitLab. And we have some branch of challenges in software testing. So first challenges is like that requirement understanding. Sometimes what happen, like the requirement has came from that one person point of view, then again what happened, like another person point of view, that requirement has changed slightly, or the requirement sometimes change fully. So that is like most like challenging task for a software tester, because software tester doesn't know that a record if that software tester doesn't know the requirement properly, then that software tester not able to write the proper test cases. And there is like some like time limit, because on that project on agile we have a very limited time. Inside that limited time we have to complete our testing. So to like doing hurry worry, so we sometimes we miss some kind of scenarios or some kind of critical scenarios. So that is that another challenge. Another thing is like the documentation. If we don't have a proper proper documentation, then we cannot cannot test this application further. Sometimes what happen, we can we will stuck for this we'll stuck for testing. Because of that we don't have a proper adequate document. So this thing is like documentation is also needed. It is a very important thing. Another thing is like sometimes say software complexity. Now for that modern software, they are very complex. Modern business software, they're very complex. They have lots of test scenarios. I have seen launch software has more than 30,000 scenarios, and for one module I have seen like more than 15 to 16,000 scenarios. As complex as that modern softwares are very complex. So that is that another challenging task for software tester. Now, what is the future of software testing? So first thing is like already AI is coming in testing, so we can write that branch of cases like through that AI tools. I'll show you on that further video. Another thing like that we have to like learn CI/CD pipeline. So basically, like most of that company is using Jenkins. Another thing is like we have to enhance that our test automation. So we have to find that better locators and a proper robust tool that should be properly stabilized, and we can generate that proper report, value report. That value or any kind of report should be properly 100% cases should be passed. Another thing like we have some knowledge regarding AI ML. So for that we can use AI. We can use AI for that our testing help. Another thing is like understanding DevOps and Agile methodology. It is a very helpful for a tester point of view. So tester can switch their job role from testing to DevOps domain or project management. And we have to do some, and we have to acquire some advanced automation skill. Through advanced automation skill, we can learn that learn that automation, and we can execute that cases where that no person should be involved. So yeah, so that's all about this video, guys. So here I have like discussed regarding like software testing, like crucial, and like why the software testing is needed, because that we gonna delivering that high quality software. And thing is like that we have to be continuously learning and adaptation mindset, so that way we can like grow our career and we can also deliver a proper quality software. So guys, thank you for your valuable time. You have seen this video. If any kind of recommendation is there from you guys, please comment below. I try to. If you guys have any kind of questions and all, please comment down. I if I have more proper time, then I can try to give the proper response.